Hey, good people. It's Carla P. Yarbrough of carlapyarbrough.com. And I was thinking about you today because I am always thinking about you. And just know I was really thinking about y'all a whole lot today because this is the second time I have had to do this. And it was like, but I've had so many technical difficulties today that I almost scrapped it and said, forget it. But I love you. And I was thinking about you and I really want to share with you today, just something that has really been on my mind all weekend, actually, because I had a conversation I think it was like Friday evening. And it just sparked some things that made me just keep thinking about you and thinking about you and thinking about you. And I was thinking about how so many people sabotage their own success. And sometimes they really don't even know that they're doing it. They have absolutely no idea that they are sabotaging their success and the things that they desire so much. They want to have this great career, or they want to make these transitions and changes. Maybe they're coming out of they're going into retirement, but they don't want to just sit around doing nothing, but they don't know how to get started, but they're sabotaging their success. And I just was really thinking about it because of the conversation I had about the sabotage of success. And I said, you know what, I really need to share. I want to share with you 4 things that determine your success. I really want to share with you because if you don't get these things right, you are not going to be able to be successful. Just bottom line. I don't care, you put us away. You won't have the success that God desires you to have, which is so much greater than we could ask or think, and so much greater than anything the world has. It doesn't even compare to what the world has. And so I wanted to share these 4 things with you because when I was having that conversation, I was listening to the person, and I was like, this is really not going to work out. But I couldn't share with them because they weren't in a position to really hear it. So I said, let me share with you guys. And those of you that can really receive it and hear it and latch on to it, I know you're going to take it and run with it. And I look forward to seeing all the amazing things that you will do. And so the 4 things that I know will derail your success if you don't get them right are: 1 is diligence. 2, critical thinking. We're going to talk about that. 3 is unity. And 4 is minding your own business. I know that sounds so simplistic. It sounds really, really simplistic, but it's a lot deeper and broader than what you think. And so we're going to talk about all 4 of them, okay? So let's first talk about diligence. Okay, diligence, when we think about diligence, a lot of times we only think about we think about being busy. But diligence is really being consistent and putting consistent action behind that thing that you say you want or desire, that thing that you say you believe in, putting your consistent actions behind it. A lot of times we say we want these things and we believe, I believe I'm supposed to be this doctor. I believe I'm supposed to be an entrepreneur. I believe I'm supposed to have my own shop or whatever, but we don't want to put the actions behind it. It's like we figure God is going to wave some magic wand and give it to us. And that's not how this works. Diligence is what gets you there. That consistent action behind what you say you believe. And I can tell whether or not you really believe what you say you want. I can really tell if you haven't been moving, you haven't been putting any consistent action behind it, you really don't believe it. And you cannot believe it for a number of different reasons. Maybe you don't believe that you have some self-esteem issues, maybe that you don't believe you're good enough for it. You don't believe that you're smart enough. I know I had that issue for a long time. I didn't believe I was smart. And the Lord had to work with me on that. And yes, I do know now I'm brilliant. Okay. But I did not think I was smart enough to do the thing that God called me to do anything, to really give any information to anybody. And so maybe somebody is dealing with that kind of issue. Maybe you are not diligent because you believe that you've made too many mistakes. Even though you're really smart, you believe you maybe made too many mistakes and that you won't have the opportunities. You might not be diligent just because you don't feel like doing the work. Yep. You might not be diligent just because you just don't feel like doing the work, or somebody told you that you couldn't. Whatever the reason is, you just really don't believe it, even though you talk about it all the time. and say that you want it, saying that that's your purpose, saying that that's the thing you're gonna do someday. You're planning, you get stuck in that paralysis of analysis. You get stuck in perpetual planning. You're not being diligent, you're just planning. You're not putting any real action behind that thing that you say you believe in. And if you do not do that, you will not be successful because you haven't even gotten started, really. This is another thing that happens. You feel like you're being diligent because you're busy with a whole lot of different things. You're all over here and you're over there and you start changing your mind and doing this and you change your mind and doing that. Oh, I see this thing. And it might be all in the same, let's say, realm of things, in the same field of interest, but they're not one solid thing and you're all over the place. You are not diligent. You just scatterbrain. That is not being diligent. That is just being scatterbrain all over the place. And you won't focus on that one thing and be consistent on that one thing, that God gave you to do. Not being consistent in that one thing God gave you to do. It's important for us to be not only consistently busy, but consistently working on that thing that we're supposed to be working on if we're going to have the success. And so that's really important. So that's the very first thing you need to make sure that you're doing is being diligent. The second thing is critical thinking. Critical thinking. Now, I don't see a whole lot of critical thinking nowadays. It makes me, as you can see, it makes me rub my head. I really don't see a lot of critical thinking nowadays. When I was a kid, and I am Gen X, I am that generation that everybody says is so mean, and that we get talked about for being very firm and harsh. But I grew up there. Matter of fact, I'm a 70s baby. I was born in 1970, so I'm like right there in the middle of Gen X. But when I was in school, one of the things that was really pressed upon us was critical thinking. So much so that we had a class called critical thinking. When I was younger, and every afternoon, we would have to open up our little critical thinking workbooks, and there would be things like riddles and puzzles, math puzzles, word searches. We were crossword puzzle babies. We had to do the crossword puzzles. We had to do all these different critical thinking, skill building things where we had to take everything and look at the whole picture and come to one conclusion, and making sure it was the correct conclusion based on all the elements that were in this particular story or something that the teacher was doing. And it was impressed upon us that we had to use our brains. We had to critically think. I don't see that anymore. As a matter of fact, I was a stay-at-home homeschooling mom for 16 years. 16 years, and that graduated all of my children from school. They never went to regular school. But one of the things that was really difficult for me to find when I was homeschooling, because I bought curricula, I never saw critical thinking within the curricula that I was purchasing. And so I would have to go out of my way to find critical thinking skills, things for my children to do. But because of that, I see a generation of people and a whole lot of people after my generation that aren't pressed to think critically. They're not pressed to think critically. And with them not being pressed to think critically, they have a tendency to swallow everything. You can get caught up, and even in my generation, because some of us forgot the critical thinking skills that we had. And we have a tendency, and I'm seeing a whole lot of people swallowing a whole lot of stuff that they really should not be swallowing, because they're not using their brains. They've gotten so used to this microwave society and social media, and they want everything so quick that they don't want to look it up. They don't want to read a book. They don't want to research anything. They don't want to do it on their own. They don't want to look for it on their own. And because of that, they're swallowing anything, falling for everything. And it's causing issue. If you don't think critically, you cannot be successful. Business requires critical thinking. Business requires that you think for yourself, that you research, that you read a book, not always going to an audiobook. Now, I love me a good audiobook because I am busy frequently, and I love to read, and I love stories. I love romance. Don't judge me. But I do love romance books. So when I'm cleaning or I'm driving or I'm doing something that, I can't, don't need to have to sit down and think about, I can use an audiobook when my hands are busy and I can't physically hold a book, but I prefer to read. But I will use an audiobook. Audiobooks have their place, but if you don't sit down and read a book and research, you will fall for anything. It doesn't exercise your brain. But we're so busy trying to get everything quick that we don't want to use our own mind. And as a result, so many people are falling for anything. And I want to say something that's really going to be controversial, and it's not popular right now. But a lot of us are falling for foolishness in the political realm. And I'm not for either side, because I don't believe either side is right. I had one of my pastors, one of my bishop from a while ago. He since passed on and gone to be with the Lord. He used to say this. He said, "I'm not a Republican. I'm not a Democrat. I'm a Biblocrat." What does the Bible have to say? I'm going to go to the Bible and I'm going to look at all the issues and I'm going to make the best decision I can based on the Bible. So so I guess you could have classified him more as independent, but not in the independent sense that you would think of. He said, "I'm going to the Bible and I'm going to check off my ballot based on what the word says, not based on what some party says." Because if you have not figured it out, there is, let me share this with you. There is no such thing as a political party that is the godly majority. There is no such thing as a political godly majority. It's not. Because both sides, all the sides, whether you the Democrat, the Republican, the Green Party, the Independent, whoever you are, if it's not based on the Bible, all the sides have some things that they are missing out on and they are gravely wrong about, and they are hurting people on all the sides. There is no such thing as a political godly majority. So stop it. So just stop it. You need to think critically and use the wisdom of God. That's how you're going to think critically, by using the wisdom of God. If you are not using the wisdom of God, you are not thinking critically, and you are causing yourself problems, and you will not have the success that you desire to have, or the desired success that the Lord would have you have. Because you're so busy looking at what other people are willing to do for you. Let me explain something to you. There is no government. There is no government that is going to do everything for you. There's no government that really cares about you. I don't care how many political leaders that we vote into office, vote out of office, change hands, Supreme Court justices. I don't care what country you live in. I don't care. They are not for you. The government is not for the people. The government is for the government. Bottom line, the government is for the government. The government is concerned about themselves and their own individual families and how their ends are going to meet. They are not necessarily for the people. Now, you got the occasional nice person, good person in there. It's like, oh, I love the people so much. But for the most part, for the majority, the government is for the government. Even the laws are set up for the government. So stop expecting this worldly government to save you. You are part of the kingdom. And your job is to use the wisdom of God and think critically so that you can move forward and have the success that God desires you to have. He set it up for you to have that success. But we need to stop looking to what this world has and swallowing everything that they have to say and fighting amongst ourselves about stupid stuff. Think critically. And the only way you're going to think critically is by using the wisdom of God. Okay? I'm going to let that go. Think critically. All right? The third thing that you need to do, and you must do in order for you to be successful the way God intends for you to be successful, is be unified with others. There is no such thing as a self-made man. That is a myth. I've said this before. There's no such thing as a self-made man. God didn't even design us to be self-made. We are not islands. He designed us to be together, linked together, helping one another, doing for one another, so that we can all have success. But we come from this very individualized society. Everybody wants to be the first, and everybody wants to say, I did it myself. I did it my way. Nobody helped me. I did it on my own. God never designed that. God didn't design that. As a matter of fact, if you look at the different examples he gives when he gives examples about sheep and the shepherd. The sheep that always got by the wolf was the sheep that went off by himself, who was an individual. The shepherd will have put all the sheep over here to have this particular grass to eat. And you have that one sheep that decides he sees some grass over there. He's going to go over there and get the grass further off because whatever reason he got his mind was going off. And that's the one that gets got. Because God tells us there's safety in a multitude of counsel. It says a 3-strand cord is not easily broken. He tells us that we are better and stronger together. But Satan has made it so he has tricked us into believing that this individualized society is best because I don't want to share my credit with anybody. I don't want to share my ideas with anybody because somebody might steal from me. Really? For real? Take care of that idea legally, protect it legally, move on and join with someone that can help you get to your dream and you can help them get to their dream. I don't even, if I use myself as an example, I'm a speaker and an author and a consultant. I'm not on my own. I have to have people that help me with tech, which I did not have today, which is why I was struggling. But people that help me with tech. I have people that edit my books for me, beta readers. I have people, I need someone that's going to tell me, Carla, if I'm at a speaking event, Carla, come on, you're talking too much. It's time for us to go because you got the next thing to do. Keep me on track. I have people that hold me accountable, making sure that I'm diligent because I get tired and I can stop doing what I need to do. Somebody's going to call me and say, did you get that thing done? Did you finish writing those chapters? What's going on next? All of those things. I'm not a solo person. Nobody is. If you have a business, you have accountants and you have suppliers for your goods or services, and you have tech people and you have staff and retail people to help you sell whatever it is. You are not an island. You are not an island, and God never intended you to be. If you are going to be successful, you are going to have to learn to bring somebody into your dream, because you could be helping them with their dream by allowing them to help you with yours. Partnering with someone, partnering with 1 or 2 people. Some of you have the same vision, the same dream, and together you can work together and push that forward. One is creative, one is business minded, one is administrative, and you're all working together to get this one thing go off the ground and move forward. But when we are so individualistic, when we have that individualized mentality, we're all struggling and flailing in the water trying to get somewhere. And you know what? If you look at this, that happens a lot in the church. It happens a lot in the church where we want to say, it was just me and God. I just did it with me and Jesus. No. Because if you look in the world, they come together all the time. You hear them always talking about the deals that are made on the golf course and how these couple of buddies got together and did this particular venture. But they'll tell you that they are self-made men or self-made women, and I did it my way. No, they didn't. No, they didn't. That's you, and we're not critically thinking, if we back up just a little bit, recognizing that they did not do it themselves. They had to have help, and they did it with someone else. You have to be unified because that's the way God designed it. If you're looking to do it yourself, all by yourself, that's not how God designed it, and you're going to struggle and possibly keep yourself from having the success that you desire. Okay? And the fourth thing, the last thing that will keep you from having success, the last thing that really determines your success is minding your own business. Please mind your own business. And what do I mean when I say that? Too often, we have a problem seeing somebody else have success, as if their success stops you from being successful. How is it that your success affects my success? It does not. God has enough to go around. Your success does not stop my success, and my success does not stop your success. I need to mind my own business, and you need to mind yours. Everybody can have the success that's desired. You know, I've mentioned this before. When I'd spoken at an event in London, and right before we were going out to speak, going to the church or to the event space, there's a woman, she prayed for us. She's pastor. She prayed over us, and she had all these speakers and leaders in a room. And before she spoke, before she prayed for us, she said, "The sky is so big, I've never seen two birds collide." What she meant by that was that God has enough success to go around. Nobody is going to run into anybody, and nobody's going to take food out of your mouth, because God has something specifically for you. He knew when you came here what he had for you. He's not going to give it to somebody else. There's a song that says, "What God has for me, it is for me." So why am I worried about what these people over here are getting? And I'm seeing too much of that, especially in the body of Christ. They're not thinking critically, and they're saying, well, these people are taking from us. And they're not tending to their own garden. They're looking at what somebody else is getting and how much success they're having, and they're not tending to their own garden. And that's why they're not having the success. It has nothing to do with what those people over there are doing. It has nothing to do with what those people over there are doing. It has to do with what they're not doing right there in their own space. What they do or what they do or what they do over there has nothing to do with your success. The only one that can stop your success is you, by not minding your own business. Mind your business. Mind your business. Please do. Mind your business, and you will have the success that you desire. Because if you're not minding your business cannot flourish. Ooh. If you're not tending to your own garden, there will be no flowers. There will only be weeds. While you looking at everybody else's stuff flourish, and you over there trying to throw rocks in their window and pull up their garden and fuss about what's happening, and your stuff is growing in weeds because you're not tending to it. And when you get home, you so tired that you so tired from trying to sabotage everybody else that you can't tend to your garden. Mind your business. If you mind your own business, you will have the advancements that you desire. That's what you really have to get that. Nobody is stopping your success. Nobody is stopping your success but you. So you got to go back to number 2 and think critically when you're looking at other people having success. Jealousy, envy, that's of the enemy. You know that. So when you start feeling like somebody is getting something that you're not getting, first of all, let's think about, if they're getting something that you don't get, is it actually for you? Is what they're getting actually for you, first of all? And secondly, are they getting it because they're being diligent and putting the work in and you're not? Nobody's taking your opportunity. Can't nobody take an opportunity that God gave for you, because you know why? Because the opportunity God gives for you, he's not going to give to them. So nobody is taking your opportunities. You're just not taking advantage of your opportunities. Okay? And I know this is a hard word, and I know this is a hard thing to hear, but these 4 things can really derail you. They're the foundation determining whether or not you will have the success you desire. Being diligent, meaning putting consistent action behind that thing you say you believe you're supposed to have. Critically thinking, not just swallowing everything. Using the wisdom of God and thinking about that thing, looking at the total picture and coming up with the right outcome, coming up with the right solution, the right answer. Being unified, working with the people that God has put around you so that you all are stronger together and moving forward and having that great success. And minding your own business. Not being so concerned about somebody else's success and what they're getting. So much so that you can't even get your own stuff done and want to complain about what you don't have. These things, they determine the level of success you will have, or if you even get started. Now, I know this is really hard. This was like a really hard, difficult word. It can come off really harsh. And I know I sound like I'm fussing, because I am. Because when I had that conversation on Friday, I was like, for real, I am fussing. But I had a pastor. He used to say this, and I appreciate him. His name is Christopher Brooks. I don't know if he still says this or not. And if he does, I'm going to give credit where credit is due, because it was amazing. It was an amazing thing when I heard it, and I'm going to share it with you. He would say, I love you enough to offend you. He would stand and look at us on Sunday morning and say, I love you enough to offend you. And you know what? I love you enough to offend you. I appreciate that saying. Because if I didn't love you, I wouldn't tell you. And I know some people are probably going to be mad, and they're probably going to have all the issues. They're going to have their comments about what they want to say about what that. And I know you. I loved you enough. I love you enough to offend you, and I'm going to add this too. I love you enough to risk your anger with me. It's okay for you to be mad at me. And you know what? I'm still going to love you, and I'm still going to tell you the truth. Because if you don't get these things right, you getting in your own way, and you can't blame nobody else, and you can't even be mad at God. Okay? That's all I wanted to tell you today. I know I sound so sweet now, don't I? That's all I wanted to tell you. That I hope you guys come back and talk to me. I know you're mad at me, but I hope you guys come back and talk to me. I will talk to you again real soon. I hope this all finds you really well, and that you use these 4 keys, these 4 things, so that you can have the success that God desires you to have. I don't want to see you fall behind. I don't want to see you fail. And I know there's so many things you want to do before the Lord comes back, or before he calls you on home. Go on and have fun and enjoy that abundant life that Jesus died for you to have. Okay? I'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.